Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, hello, everyone. It's your girl, Gabrielle. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. So if you are not familiar with this show, let me tell you what this show is about. This show is about hot, steamy topics, right? We like to talk that real talk. We like to talk that real talk about physical health, mental health, education, social services, all those things that, we don't really like to put out there in the forefront. We like to keep those things in the back in our little private circles. Well, we're taking those things and we are putting it all out in the open. And all of that is to educate you. And so today, I am excited about this topic. Not only do we have a brand new topic, of course, but we have a repeat guest. And I am excited when these guests come back to the hot seat. You know, it's definitely an honor. So with that said, let's get right to it. So our topic today is nutrition tips. Right, so we're going to talk about the best ways to eat healthy, to live right. You know, it's always a challenge when it comes to nutrition, and we're going to talk about the ways that we can accomplish that. And the guest who is going to help me out, her full name is Amanda Elise Love. Oh, I released that banner a little too early, but let me take that off for a second. But yes, her name is Amanda Elise Love. She was on a prior episode on fibromyalgia, and I didn't scare her away, so she came back to the hot seat, and she is going to talk to us about proper nutrition, especially if you have certain dietary restrictions. So with that said, I'm looking forward to this topic. I'm looking forward to sharing this information. So let's get right to it. Now I'm going to bring the banner back up. Who is Amanda Elise Love? Let me remind you about who she is. So Amanda Elise Love is a registered holistic nutritionist who teaches women how to cook simple but delicious, allergy-friendly, healthy meals and to integrate a holistic approach through mind, body, and spirit. Amanda also has a long history of illness, which culminated with the diagnosis of fibromyalgia at the age of 20 in 2010, which caused debilitating pain and other aspects of her life. Because of this, she made it her life mission to teach others how to cook allergy-friendly food and lead a holistic life. She holds a diploma as the Registered Holistic Nutritionist, certifications in gut health, culinary nutrition, and more. Amanda is the host of the podcast Covering All Aspects of Holistic Health with Amanda Love, which has reached over 110 episodes. She has also been a featured guest on over 70 podcasts and TV shows such as Biz TV. She also has been a speaker at many summits and panels across the country. Finally, Amanda is the co-author of the book Trauma to Triumph. That is awesome. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to bring her to the forefront. Hey, Amanda, how you doing today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming back. And so today we're going to talk about nutrition tips. And I remember from our last conversation, you brought up you had a lot of different allergies. So we're going to talk about uh, the best way, the best foods that you can eat given those allergies. So um, I'm looking forward to this conversation. So, should I just have you get started, or um, should I give you a prompt? How should we do this?
What do you want to ask me?
Well, let's start off with this. Let's remind people about what the food allergies that you have.
Okay, so I have food allergies. I have gluten, I have soy, I have eggs, and I have dairy. And those are the food sensitivities I had. And I found out about this it'll be 11 years in July. And it was by a wellness chiropractor who said to me, okay, you have a gluten sensitivity, highest in his practice at the time, but you're not celiac. You have a soy sensitivity, egg sensitivity, and dairy sensitivity, and stuff.
So that's a lot of different stuff. That's a lot all at once. So how does that work? Let's break it down. So you said gluten, soy, egg, and dairy.
Dairy. Mm-hmm.
Gluten, soy, egg, dairy. Okay. So let's break down each one. You are a certified nutritionist. So let's break it down. For someone with gluten allergies, what kind of foods can you eat?
So with gluten, I tell people, look at if it says gluten, you can't have it, but maybe you could have corn, like a corn tortilla, or like brown rice, wild rice. Sweet potatoes are amazing. So figure out what you can have is really simple. If it doesn't say gluten, then you can have it.
Simply put. So can we clarify what is gluten exactly? Is it just bread? What is it?
So it's a substance. It's like a protein substance. Gluten's in bread. It could be in pasta. It could be in everything you could think of has gluten. Tea could have gluten. So really figuring out, okay, I can't have gluten anymore, but that doesn't mean you'll probably start to eat healthier just because a lot of times things with gluten just make you feel horrible and they make you feel bad. And you go back to things that are in your produce aisle, like sweet potatoes. You can have regular potatoes and stuff like that too and stuff. So it's just going back to foods that actually came to the world hundreds and hundreds of years ago, not just packaged things.
So not like processed food or growing your own food in the backyard, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Just growing your own food process. I mean, honestly, everything with fast food has processed stuff, so that's something you have to really pay attention to, and that would be probably the biggest switch for people is if you're dealing with a lot of foods, like food sensitivities. The fast food places aren't the greatest because I always tell people one little molecule of gluten can stay in your body up to weeks, up to months, so you can't cheat. And people who have celiac, they're so sensitive that even if a family member uses the cutting board or there's a little piece or something, then that could really be horrible for them. So it's just learning what your body can take.
So what do you think of those foods that are like it's like, how do I say it? It's like those mock foods or those pretend foods. So things like there's gluten-free pasta, or there's gluten-free bread, or um it looks like the real thing, but it's not. So what do you think of those foods?
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
So, yeah, those foods are not that great tasting, probably. But I understand in the beginning when you first start out going gluten-free, you could try gluten-free pasta. You could try all of these different products and stuff like that. And you could have them once in a while. Like, I used to be big on having gluten-free bread. I haven't had it in so long, but it's just not the same. But there are a lot of like products out there right now that are pushed like, oh, they're allergy friendly, they're real or whatever, but you have to realize that they're not the healthiest for you. A lot of times they have a really high amount of sugar and stuff like that, and it's just like regular stuff. So like ice cream, let's take ice cream for example. So we all know ice cream has a lot of sugar. So dairy-free ice cream, people think that it's healthier because it's dairy-free, and it's not. It's just dairy-free, and it could have like 56 grams of sugar just for a little pint of ice cream. So you really have to look at the ingredients that are in your ice cream and all that type of thing too.
So you bring up a fair point. When you have these imitation foods, right? It may sound great on the outside, but you also got to remember, you still want to look at the ingredients because it may have more sugar than normal, or more salt than normal, more chemicals than normal. So you still want to be wary about those imitation foods.
Yeah, you do. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some really good like ice creams that are dairy free. There are really good cookies that are dairy free and stuff like that. I'm not saying you can't have those things. And there are brands that are healthier for you, but a lot of times it's better just to make your own like desserts and stuff, healthier version of whatever your favorite dessert is and stuff like that, I think, because then you know what is going into your food.
Right. So you make it yourself, so you know what you're putting in the food.
Exactly. And nowadays, something people need to think about is like, it's okay to have ice cream. It's okay to have that dessert. I don't want people to be like, oh, I'm going to beat myself for having that ice cream. I'm going to beat myself. We just celebrated Easter in the US. I'm going to beat myself up the rest of the week. I'm going to work out 2 hours a day to make up for whatever I had Easter weekend. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to punish our bodies. We just start healthy with the next meal. And I think that's the big thing. We don't have to always be perfect with our eating. Nobody is perfect with their eating. I'm not perfect with my eating. And the big thing is, if you are dealing with like you just have sugar as your weakness, one of the things you should do is just don't keep it in the house and just like have it as like something. If you go to your favorite restaurant, okay, have it at your favorite restaurant and stuff like that.
All right. So you're saying eating healthy doesn't have to mean cutting yourself off from foods that you love. It just means eating less of it or eating it more in moderation.
Yeah, make it moderation. I always tell people moderation. Or you just, maybe if it's like ice cream, for example, maybe you go to your favorite ice cream place and you just don't keep whatever that ice cream is in the house, right? Or you share it with people. One thing I tell people is, I want you to, like, when you're like going through cravings and stuff, I want you to, because a lot of times when we go through cravings, it's because there's something going on. There's some traumatic event that just happened, or we're upset or something. So instead of like going to the freezer and grabbing that ice cream, just sit with yourself for like 10 minutes.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Just breathe through that craving and stuff like that and see how you feel. Do you still want that ice cream 10 minutes later, or is it because you were so stressed out? Because a lot of times with cravings, we just automatically just go for it, and we don't think about, why am I dealing with this craving? What's going on? Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? What just happened? Maybe I need a journal, like what happened. Maybe I could take a nice relaxing bath instead, or just breathe through that craving and be like, okay, it's not time to eat food. Maybe it's just, I'm so stressed out. I just need to breathe through that craving.
Interesting. When we crave food, you're saying it may not necessarily mean, I mean, you want the food, but there may be an emotional connection there. Like it might be you're trying to fill some sort of emotional need. And so instead of turning to that food, to explore that emotional feeling that's going on.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this too, where it's not that I'm hungry, it's more of just like, okay, I'm lonely, I'm sad. Okay, we need to feel. I think a lot of times we just need to sit with our emotions also, because we suppress our emotions, and that turns into like reaching for the cookies and reaching for the cake and stuff like that. Okay, what can I do instead? Okay, I could take a bath. I could watch a movie. I could read a book. I could go to sleep. Sometimes I think a lot of times at nighttime, it's not that we're really hungry, is it? It's because we're tired and we got into these habits of, okay, I'm going to have popcorn with my movie, or I'm going to have something to eat as I'm watching the movie. But your mind doesn't realize that it's eating because you're so focused on your TV show. So a lot of times it's better just to, if you're going to enjoy your ice cream, sit down, put it in a nice bowl, a nice beautiful bowl that you can enjoy with no distractions, and actually eat it and relax and enjoy it, and not have any distractions with it.
Awesome. All right, so let's jump into the other allergy friendly. So we brought up you brought up soy. So let's start. What type of foods have soy in them?
So soy has foods like, I would say there's soy sauces, there's soy's in tea. I think the biggest thing with soy is look at where the soy is coming from. Chinese dishes have a lot of soy in them. There's a great product that's called Coca Aminos, and it's a alternative for like soy sauce. So that's something you could easily get at your store, the grocery store. But soy is one of those tricky ones where it's in things that you never think it would be in. I had a favorite tea I used to like. Soy was in that. So I think a lot of times it's just like going straight back to what we've been talking about. Go back to the products that are in your pantry right now and be like, okay, that has soy, or that contains milk, or that contains wheat. They make it super easy nowadays to know right away that's something you can't have.
So it all goes back to reading the ingredients.
Exactly.
So what about the foods? Is there like there's soy milk, right? So what do you think of? I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like soy has been used as a substitute for people that can't eat dairy.
Yeah.
So what do you? So I mean, you're a special case because you have it all at the same time. But soy is used as a substitute for certain foods you can't eat. So what about things like soy milk or soybeans or all those soy alternatives?
Yeah, I honestly, I don't feel like we should be having soy and stuff, but I think it is a big thing right now. I think a lot of times with soy, that's not one of the things people take out of their, like, what they're eating and stuff. But I tell people one good thing to do is with, like, if you drink, like, if you want to go dairy free and go straight to, you can make your own almond milk. And it's really like, I made it recently for friends for like a cooking class. And we put a little bit of like a tablespoon of maple syrup and like strawberries. We made it like a strawberry milk. And out of all of those things that like everything that we cooked at the cooking class, that was like the simplest thing, and that was this thing that like everybody wanted me to like make them again and stuff. They said it was so good and so addicting. So just think about like how simple that is. It's very simple. You just take almond milks. It's really simple. There's recipes online how to make it, and it doesn't take that long to make.
Mm-hmm. So you brought up an interesting point about like cooking your own food, making your own food. What about, people like me that don't really like to cook, so what what options are there for those kinds of people?
So there's if you don't like to cook, and I talk about this in an episode I did for my podcast recently, is cook a bunch of meals all at once, right? Maybe you have one day of cooking, just a couple hours, right? And make several meals and do it all at once, right? Because I think if you don't like to cook, you don't want to be cooking every single day, right? So cook all your meals, and then you don't have to do it for the rest of the week. So say you do roasted vegetables with some protein, and then you do like some sweet potato. Okay, that's it. That's a meal. You could do roasted sweet potato. You could do a baked potato. Baked potatoes are amazing. With like, say you do dairy-free sour cream, with some chicken and some spinach and beans mixture on top of that. So there are ways to like mix up your meals and stuff like that. Maybe you do like a salad. So have the salad dressing already for the week. So then all you have to do is throw some chicken, like have your chicken cooked up. And so then all you have to do is throw the chicken onto your spinach with your salad dressing, with some like avocado and maybe like some brown rice. Like do a Buddha bowl. Simple. I think a lot of times we overcomplicate meals, and if we don't like to cook, the simpler the meal, the better.
Interesting. So cook all your meals at once. So like cook for the week, for example, and then it's like storing them in your fridge, right? So when it's ready to eat, you have your leftovers. You could just work off of that, and just you're cooking ahead of time and you're eating your leftovers pretty much.
Yeah, a big thing is like a lot of people are like, well, okay, it's 6 o'clock at night and I have kids coming in, right? And you are like, and it's like the kids want to eat, you're exhausted from working a long day and stuff like that. Then you have to think about what you eat. It's just a lot of intentional planning beforehand. So taking the time once a week and be like, start out with like, create like a little meal plan. Doesn't mean you have to like follow the meal plan and stuff like that, but like pick 3 to 4 recipes.
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to chumbacasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa Welcome Bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
That you can have for lunch and dinner. And then breakfast, maybe you just do something simple like a smoothie or something. You don't have to plan out that breakfast, but you plan out your lunch and your dinners. And I think the biggest thing is people need to do is like, no matter if you're coming home from the store or ordering your groceries, because we all do this, is making sure, and I talk about this in my episode where I talk about like meal prepping, cut up all your vegetables ahead of time. So that way, like, say it's a busy night and you didn't have time to cook a couple of days before, you just throw it all into the pot and stuff like that. I think it saves time. And while you're cooking, always start with like the thing that maybe takes the longest time. So like if you're cooking something in the crock pot, do that first, right? Because that's going to cook all day. But then while you're doing that, while that's done, right, and it's cooking, you don't have to pay attention to that thing. So maybe you could be cutting up vegetables for tomorrow's dinner, or maybe you could throw some roasted potatoes or roasted vegetables into the oven while that's cooking. So multitasking is super important and stuff like that. So like you could be starting on other meals, you could be doing dishes, you could be doing all that other stuff while you're cooking 2 other meals, or however meals you're making at a time.
Interesting. Interesting. All this is great advice. Thank you so much for that. All right. I want to make sure we get to the other ones. All right. So we did gluten, we did soy. Okay. Eggs. Eggs and dairy. Let's talk about eggs. So you said you had an egg sensitivity. So what kind of foods can people eat that don't contain eggs?
That is a hard one. And honestly, if I could have eggs, that would be the one thing I would want because it's a great protein source. So eggs, I'm telling you, eggs is in everything. So like if you want like your baking stuff, like your baking desserts all have eggs, to be honest. There are some products now that have dairy, that are dairy free, egg free, and all of that. So there are like dairy free cheesecakes, there are gluten-free pies that are like totally allergy friendly. Yeah, eggs is a hard one, but there are ways to substitute for eggs. If you do a lot of baking, people know like these things where you could look up and you could do like it's called a flax egg. And you do like flaxseed and water, and it takes the place of an egg. Except for it gets harder if there's more than 2 eggs in a recipe and stuff like that. And you can use, I think you could use applesauce for eggs and stuff, like substitute for eggs and stuff like that. I personally just, most of the time, I'll stick to recipes that really don't have any egg in them, or I'll just stick to recipes that don't have egg and stuff like that. But yeah, for eggs, you're just gonna have to like figure it out. Just a lot of products, when you're going away from like processed foods, then it doesn't really matter about eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know eggs is a difficult one. I think so again, bringing up the imitation food, there's the egg substitutes now. I think I saw something recently about it's like it's like plants. I don't know, is eggs made out of plants? It's something that I saw.
It's awful.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like I've used egg substitute, not in a long time. I haven't used but like there are better ways to like I was talking about, like applesauce. There are better, and I think you could use banana in replace of eggs somehow, but I don't remember because I don't do it too often. I don't do a ton of baking and stuff like that, but yeah. When I've used egg substitute, like when I first was starting out, it's pretty, like you can make it as an egg just by itself, which is so. I used it for like a cake recipe, I remember, and it doesn't, just the thing is with eggs, you don't realize, but eggs like make your baking rise, and like without that, it's just not as good and stuff. So I haven't had really good, like whatever, like the few times I've done egg substitute, and it's been so long and stuff, but it's just not worth like even bothering with the egg substitute too much, in my opinion.
Very interesting. Okay. And well, I mean, if eggs are a good source of protein, but what about other sources of protein where you don't necessarily need eggs? So something like lentils or red beans, black beans, fish.
Yeah, you could do beans, lentils. Chicken is really good. Something I was just doing for this week's episode for my podcast is like organ meats are really a good source of protein. If you want to try something new, organ meats is something you can get a good amount of protein in.
Organ meat. What is that?
Like the organs of the animals and stuff like that. I'm not like, that's not my expertise. I have a friend who knows more about that. But yeah, that's something people could start looking into also.
Okay, there we go. All right, and lastly, the big kahuna, dairy-free foods. So I'm for like the lactose intolerant or just anyone who just doesn't want to consume dairy. What kind of foods can they eat?
Okay, so dairy-free, it just goes back to looking at your ingredients list and stuff like that. Look at what is in your almond milks. If you want to make homemade almond milk, you can. It's very easy to do. I drink a lot of almond milk, so like it's sort of hard for me to make that all the time. But yeah, there are almond milks. I always tell people, look at the sugar that is in almond milks. Some almond milks, if they're like 60 calories, they're going to probably have a lot of sugar. If they have 30 calories, they probably have 0 or like 1 gram of sugar and stuff. So always look at like your sugar content, see what's like, do you know what the ingredients are in that almond milk? Was a big thing. Of course, nowadays we have dairy-free cheese, which honestly is not that great, but it's okay. There's dairy-free ice cream and stuff, which honestly is delicious. If I have to say anything about like allergy-friendly food, they really know how to make ice cream good. There is dairy-free cheesecake, stuff like that. So you can have those things. Like, I'm not saying you can't have those things. Like, if there's a holiday and you don't want to bake or you don't want to cook, there are things that you could bring, like that dessert. There are pies now in America where like they're wholly allergy friendly. You could bring that and nobody's gonna know.
Right. So when it comes to the dairy-free substitutes, again, we always want to be cautious about the ingredients, how much sugar is it processed, things like that.
Yeah, you always have to be careful about that stuff. But I'm not someone who's like, I know you're gonna know really quickly what products have a lot of sugar in them and stuff like that right away and stuff. Once you get to know, like certain companies have like, you'll get to know, okay, they have a cheese, they have a butter. Oh yeah, that's something else I didn't mention. So if you can't have butter, and that's something that's dairy free, there's a dairy free butter that I like that's with olive oil and stuff like that. So dairy free butter is actually really good. It's nice to have for like a baked potato or sweet potato or like popcorn and stuff. I'll make like homemade popcorn and I'll put dairy-free butter on it. So like, I don't want people to think you're missing out and stuff like that. You just have to start looking at like what is out there. And there's so many more things out there than there was like when I first went dairy-free and soy-free and gluten-free like 11 years ago.
All right. So, I mean, that is, that's an important message that, you may be cutting out certain foods, or looking for substitutes, but you don't have to give up good taste. Like you could still eat tasty food and, not eat certain things.
Exactly. I feel like, and I hate the whole like we're cutting out things. It's more of like, okay, what foods can I bring into my diet to like make me feel better, feel better. I want to feel better in my life with my health, whatever that is. Maybe you're dealing with headaches, maybe you're dealing with fatigue, maybe you're dealing with pain. I think that's how you have to think about it. And it doesn't have to sacrifice taste. And that is a big thing that people don't realize. Yeah, maybe you're going to have less salt, you're going to have less sugar, which we all should do no matter what. Less fat, but maybe you're putting in more healthy fats like avocado or walnuts into your diet. So adding in stuff is important. And also start experimenting. I think a lot of times we are like, okay, I'm just making chicken. Okay, that's chicken's great, but what kind of what can you do? What can you experiment with? Is there like spices that you can make there, or is there spices for vegetables? There's spices for vegetables. There's spices for chicken. There's so many different spices, and just start experimenting and seeing like what kind of spices you like, because spices really make food delicious.
Like what? What kind of spices make food delicious?
I would say Canadian pepper, oregano, garlic salt. I mean, just even putting garlic salt on your roasted vegetables is easy. That's something easy and delicious. There's actually, I would say there's seasonings for vegetables. You just have to like do a little experimenting and stuff, and go to your grocery store and be like, okay, ask like the person who works there in the spice, and will be like, okay, what's a good spice for fish? What is a good spice for chicken? What is a good spice for like steak? And then there's also companies where they have spices for like steak and like vegetables and stuff like that. I know there's one company that started in Canada, and now they're in Canada and the US, and their big thing is just like spices. So do a little experimenting.
Try new things, of course. Okay. Well, we're gonna start winding down. So do you have any final advice that you like to share, or any?
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Words of wisdom.
I would say words of wisdom would be just like get started with cooking and meal prepping. Meal prepping is such an easy, like overwhelming thing. So I tell people, if you're starting with meal prepping, pick one day a week that you're going to do it, and just start with lunch. So you're like, okay, I'm going to prepare 2 different lunches for the whole week. Okay, that's great. And then do it for a couple weeks. And then maybe you're like, okay, I want to do a different recipe, or I want to change it up and I want to add So I have 3 separate meals for like all the week, the whole week. So maybe you don't have like the 2 same meals a day for every single day. Maybe you have it switched up. But whatever you do, start slow and give yourself grace, because in the beginning, it might take you some time to get in a rhythm. But once you do, it's so worth it. And you can use whatever you do, like you menu plan for that week, you can use like 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later. So if you do a new one like every single week, let's say for a month, right? Then at the beginning of the new month, you could start new again. So that's just something simple to do.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for that advice. That's great advice, great nutrition tips. All right, let me put up your banner. All right, you guys. So Amanda Elise Love, she is on social media, right? She has a personal page, as a personal Facebook page, as well as a business Facebook page. So I encourage you to check that out. I encourage you to follow her. And she is also on Instagram. So I encourage you to follow her as well. And do you have a website? I didn't put it up there. Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's AmandaEliseLove.com.
You know what? Let me take a moment. I'm going to add that right now. Okay, so
And the podcast is just changed, so it's a physical, emotional health secrets with Amanda Love.
Okay, so tell me what's the website?
AmandaEliseLove.com.
Amanda, EliseLove.com.
Yes.
And the podcast is not on Apple anymore?
Oh, it's still Apple. It's still the same app. It's just the name's changed.
All right, what's the new name?
A physical, emotional health secrets with Amanda Love.
A physical, emotional health
secrets with Amanda Love.
Secrets with Amanda Love. Okay. All right, so let's put that back up there. Okay, the website is still the same. Okay. So the web address is still the same?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, there we go. So she has a podcast. She talks all day about this health stuff. So definitely check out her podcast, listen to her episodes. And I just added her website to the scrolling marquee. So I encourage you to go to her website and learn more about her and her services. So, Amanda, can you talk about your business a little bit?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. So my services I have online services and in-person services, but I help people learn how to cook simple, delicious, allergy-friendly meals. And I have a Facebook group, and it's the same name as the podcast and stuff, but it's talking about like getting better with your health, improving your health, getting better sleep, improving your energy, mindset is a big thing. So it's not just I'm not just talking about like, okay, cooking, but I'm also talking about all the other aspects of living a holistic life. And I feel like that's a big thing. It's not just one thing that's going to fix you. It's a bunch of different things. So I'm starting trainings in May, little mini trainings in that Facebook group. I am starting online cooking classes. So wherever you are in the world, like if you just want to learn how to make allergy friendly dinners, or you want to like meal prepping is hard. So like a meal prep made easy online class I'm going to be doing. So cooking classes, eventually in-person cooking classes, and then I do online one-on-one consultations too, where I get to know you, your health history, and we create like I create an individualized plan that helps you move past the pain, move past the sleep issues, move past whatever the health issue is. And I give you the accountability to get it done. And that's the big thing. A lot of times we get suggestions with our health to do this suggestion, but it's not based on our body type or our health challenges or our age or whatever we're dealing with. It's just random advice and then we don't follow through on it. So individualized is such a big thing to me. And so that's why I do online one-on-one consultations also. So there's so many different ways to connect with me.
And there you have it, guys. So I encourage you to connect with Amanda in all of those ways, right? So you heard it first, one-on-one consultation. She's talking about in-person cooking classes. Where are you though? In person where?
So I'm in Austin, Texas. So
all right. So for those of you in Texas, if you're listening right now, or if you know somebody in Texas, definitely check Amanda out for those in-person classes. And of course, she does the virtual classes as well. So she does not leave anybody out. So I encourage you to take advantage of all of those services if you need it. Her contact information is scrolling below in the scrolling marquee. So I encourage you to take advantage of that information and follow her on all of her social media. Stay in touch with her. And for those of you watching this on our YouTube channel right now, this information will be provided in the description. All right, my dear, thank you so much for joining me once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to place you backstage now. And you guys, it is just you and me. So I'm going to put up my banner here. And we have reached the conclusion of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. Wherever you are watching this episode right now, whatever platform, whether it's Facebook or Twitter, or the episodes are now on our main website. So wherever you are watching these episodes, I encourage you to check out our platform for other videos and clips, and don't forget to follow us. I encourage you to check out our other episodes as well in our video library. So wherever you're watching this, check out our other episodes and continue to delve yourself. Is that a word, to delve? Well, indulge yourself in hot topics. So definitely check out our other episodes. And let us know what you thought about this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section below or in the comment thread. For those of you on social media, of course. So I would love to know what you thought about this episode. So please give us your feedback. And as a reminder, this web series is a production of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you would like to learn more about our company, what we're about, what we have to offer, our contact information is scrolling below right now. So I encourage you to check us out on our social media and check out our website as well. I will say the website here. It is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. So please check us out online. And we have an email list and a texting list. I encourage you to sign up for both of those things. Those web links are also scrolling below at the bottom of your screen. And for those of you watching this on YouTube, it is also in the description. I encourage you to sign up for those, for our email list and our texting list. You will receive exclusive discounts, promotions, and exclusive offers when you sign up for those things. So sign up for the email list and the texting list as well. I encourage you to sign up for both of those things. All right, so I'm going to share this final message with you before we officially close.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider making a donation to our company. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed, offer free and low-cost services, put on productions like this web series, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. Note: we're a for-profit company. We're not a charity. Your donation may not be tax deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. So now, I, Gabrielle, am signing off.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.